Hello everyone, and welcome to the results of round 2 of the Autocross Automation and Beam Championship. I hope everyone had as much fun as I did building their own road legal rally cars, and I want to give a big shout out to GamerMe for making the video for this round. Thank you so much for all the effort you've put in making the video as high quality as it is. So, the key points for round 2 that I noticed. First off, sorry for making the year stuff and the model year and the trim year and engine years so complicated. I've realised that that was a problem, and hopefully I've learned from it and future rounds won't be as complicated. Also, I know that the track was pretty difficult with the bumps and the jumps. There was a lot of places the run could go wrong, and because the track was pretty long as well, it turned out whoever just put the most time into perfecting their lap managed a much better lap time. So, for example, my brother and I are usually pretty close when it comes to racing, but I had a lot more time to learn the track and set a good lap, and I ended up with a lap time around 20 seconds faster because he didn't really have as much time to set a lap. And I noticed that with the lap times that were submitted, whoever had the most time, free time on their hands, managed a much better lap time. So for future rounds, I'll try and avoid this. So even if you're limited on time, you'll still be able to set a competitive lap. But maybe it won't matter with the coronavirus going round and everyone's jobs and schools and universities being cancelled. So maybe we'll all have a lot of free time on our hands over the next few weeks. So the track for round 3 is still tough and technical, but at least it's flat and shorter, so it should be easier to put together a clean lap. You won't have to spend as much time on beam racing. So also when I found the track, I assumed that a mix between a sporty and an off-road car would be the best, as it was roughly a 50-50 split between tarmac and dirt, but it actually turned out that those that leaned more towards a sports car fared much better in the round, which was a shame because a lot of people made really cool off-road rally cars, but they struggled in terms of the automation scores and the lap time scores. So, for example, I basically just made a sports sedan car, but it had an off-road skid tray, off-road sway bars, and a higher ride height, which meant that I fared fairly well in the competition, whereas those that had made much more serious off-road cars sadly didn't fare as well. Hopefully for future rounds it'll be much more focused in terms of what sort of car will be good and score well. Only a couple of cars fell out with the 10% of the 10th place rule, but the time penalties that were applied had them stay in the same position, which was okay. And finally, lots of entries had low and unrealistic fuel mixtures. So for future rounds there will either be a minimum fuel mixture, fuel economy will be judged, or both to stop this happening. In terms of round 3, here are the key things to note. Sorry if the pricing in the brief was confusing. Basically, it's a maximum price of $32,500. In terms of the styling of the cars, still try and make the cars look as nice as possible, just make sure that they don't look sporty. The goal is still to make as nice of a looking as a hatchback as possible, but with an engine that you'd never expect to be put in the car. Make sure you have the right seed for the track too. You can find the seed on the Reddit page, and there's a video of what the track looks like there too, to make sure that you've got the right seed. When getting a lap, reversing or turning round at the start for a longer run-up isn't allowed. I'll ask you to set a new lap if you're doing this. You have to start where Beam spawned you in. Also, for this round, there's 0% damage allowed. This is because, according to the storyline behind the challenge, you've convinced your mum that what you're going to is actually a advanced learner driver course and not an autocross event. So any sort of scratches or dents or any sort of damage on the car, and she would probably get pretty angry and suspicious of what you were actually doing. The quality sliders for this round are between -5 and 0, as it is a used car that you'd be buying. So this should try and simulate that used cars tend to have less quality than if you're buying a car from new. The gearbox must be manual for this round. I don't know if it's the same where everyone else lives, but in the UK, lots of people are told to learn to drive in a manual, as you never know when the skill will be useful. In terms of the new rules for the engine for this round, the intake must be standard and the sound must be 30 or below. And finally, from now on, when you're submitting your car, please send the lap, pictures and car file all together in either a zip folder or on Google Drive. So for this week, GamerMe has created a different format for the video, which I hope you all like and all prefer, because I definitely do. So we'll have an introduction to each of the cars and whether or not they got on the podium or had the top score across any of the categories. First up, we have the Mikado Akiyama Precision RX. Congrats to GamerMe for getting the second fastest lap of the round, with a 1 minute 53.1 second lap time. Second car up, we have the Extra Motors Jacko GX, with the high ride height a different approach to most other cars of the round. Next, we have the DAG Blitz F24, the only front-wheel drive entry of the round. Car designed by Gemini Mailman and driven by Fireboy. Here is Oliver the Hovervan's entry, the Montagna Bianca Aina Rally Special. Sadly, he couldn't get a recorded lap, but the lap was still verified. Here we have our fun, family sport and practicality section winner, the Seniero Racing C262 Wagon R. Also the winner of the Automation Market Scores category, with an average score of the top 3 markets of 141.8. New entry for round 2, the Tiffin Motors RXW HR, the most powerful entry of the round with a whopping 500 horsepower. Here is the Ganner Galahad RSTT, a well-rounded entry in all categories and managed a second place in the Automation Scores category. Here we have the Dreamer Motors LLC MTC TP Trailmaster, made by Welcome to Cotskull and driven by Aidmath. Here is my entry, the Thistlewayne Runner WRC, managing a double third place finish for both lap time and automation market scores. Here is the Auto Delta Reporto Course Auto Delta Epsilon, driven by the Italian Franci 2040. And here is Mech Torlo's entry, the Tomahawk Sprada Octavianus Mark IV WRC. This car was voted third in the aesthetics category. Penultimately, we have the Enemy Sakurai Sauru. Top score in sportiness helped this car top the automation scores with 59.4, and the car also was voted the best looking. But finally, we have the winner of round 2, Smoon Smithy in the Smoons Racing Kratos RS. This car was just amazing across the board. Fastest lap time? Check. A 1 minute 47.8, more than 5 seconds clear of second place, and compared to the average lap of 2 minutes and 2 seconds, it's just incredible. The car wasn't just quick though, it was desirable according to the automation markets. Top score in Fun Premium, Family Sport Premium, Sport Budget, and in the Sport Market. So this took the car to second place in this category with a score of 139.7. For the third category in the automation scores, third place finish, another podium with a score of 51.5. But to top it off, the Kratos RS was on the podium for every single category in round 2, with a second place in the aesthetics category too. The bar has been set ridiculously high here by Smoon Smithy, and we've got our work cut out if you want to try and challenge him in round 3.
Jesus, that was fast! I mean, not as fast as me, considering I'm the fastest in the universe. But compared to the average person...
We get it, Mike, it's cool.
So here are the results for round 2. Once again, a big congratulations to Smoon Smithy for a score I don't think we'll see topped in the future rounds. Feel free to pause the video here and have a look at how you performed in round 2. So how does the Constructors' Championship look after the second round? I've lost out to Smoon Smithy at the top of the table as he takes a fairly big lead after an amazing performance in round 2. And here is the driver's points from round 2. And finally, here is the driver's standings after round 2. It looks like it's going to be a 2-horse race between GamerMe and Spoon Smithy for the title, but I'm still hopeful that with a few good performances, I might be able to close the gap. It's nice to see we have a really diverse grid, with lots of different countries being represented. And thank you for watching the results for round 2. I hope you've enjoyed this style of video, and let me know what you think in the comments below and how me and GamerMe can improve the videos for any future rounds. And good luck for round